The last time I remember it being so dangerous to question the dogma of the day was the weeks and months after September 11th. I'm slightly older than most here, having immigrated to the US shortly before September 11th, and I vividly remember how things were at the time. I imagine many are too young to remember it well. There were two big things that occurred after September 11th that I am now seeing as well. 1. You're either with us or against us. 2. A reaction that is going to kill more people than the initial inciting event. You're either with us or against us. Bush said it shortly after September 11th, and it was pretty clear. Anyone who said we might be overreacting or that we should be measured in our approach was a coward who hated America. Nuance was out the window and people were searching for ways to be offended. Bill Maher was fired for what were pretty benign remarks. The outrage was less online because social media didn't exist, but it was very clear you weren't to deviate from the norm or you were going to be ostracized. The same is true now. A UCLA professor said he wouldn't provide special accommodations to black students last week, and more than 20,000 people signed a petition to get rid of him. https://dailybruin.com/2020/06/04/ Students signed petition to fire UCLA lecturer after many find his email insensitive. He's since been placed on leave, even though college is supposed to be the one place where ideas are to be challenged, which is why tenure exists. Terry Crews is getting slurs thrown at him. https://twitter.com/Terry Crews/status/1269840577127788545, because he dared express an opinion that isn't held by the majority. We've seen multiple people fired for relatively benign views that question the dogma of the day. The reaction is going to kill more people than the inciting event. 3,000 Americans died as a result of 9/11, and our military actions since have killed tens of thousands directly and hundreds of thousands indirectly. But you couldn't tell that to anyone at the time. Even suggesting that perhaps we slow our roll and not go completely nuts made you a traitor and sympathizer. I remember college kids saying they wanted to drop out of school and join the military and that we should nuke entire countries. If you said, hey, maybe dropping a nuke is a bad idea, people told you to shut up and you don't understand because you weren't born here. I'm seeing the same thing now. 46 unarmed people were killed by police last year. https://www. Washington Post. com/graphics/2019/national/police shootings 2019/ That's a problem and we should aim for 0, but we shouldn't kill more people to prevent it. There have been dozens of people killed in the last few weeks. Chicago just had its most deadly day in over 60 years. https://Chicago. Sun-Times. com/crime/2020/6/8/2128198/Chicago violence murder history homicide police crime. And we know that cities that have had big protests and riots have seen huge spikes in murder rates for years after. https://www. USA Today. com/story/news/nation/2018/07/12/ Baltimore police not noticing crime after Freddie Gray wave killings followed /744741002/ And yet the solution many people are proposing is defunding or abolishing the PD. Does anyone really think this is going to work? There are 1,210,000 violent crimes in the United States every year. https://www. Statista. com/topics/1750/ violent crime in the we're just going to ignore them now? Not even mentioning that we are very likely to see tens of thousands of unnecessary dead because of all the people on the streets. It doesn't really matter what I say. I remember trying to tell people in the wake of 9/11 to chill out and take a deep breath before we cause more damage than we're trying to solve. People told me to shut up, stop sympathizing with evil, and I don't understand because I wasn't born in the US. 96% of Americans supported Bush and it was unstoppable momentum. The same is true now. Anyone who dissents is going to either have their life ruined or beg and apologize, whether it's college professors or Terry Crews or Drew Brees. I wouldn't share this opinion I am giving now in public for fear of losing my job and putting me and my family at risk. But I do think we'll look back in 20 years and wish we had taken a second to reflect before we acted. Really, it feels dangerous to say anything that veers even slightly from the approved narrative. You aren't even allowed to be silent if you are a business, you must wear the ribbon, as they said in Seinfeld. It reminds me of one of those mass party gatherings in NK or in 1984 where you better smile and join in. I don't understand how we as a society go from loving statistics like those showing COVID death rates to ignoring statistics that dying by the hands of the police is astronomically low. You can't pick and choose what fact you want to follow. There are lots of historical events I think I am starting to understand better due to the hysteria of our time. While we haven't gotten to the same level yet, a lot of the current year has me thinking about the Salem witch trials. There are pseudo-religious fanatics running around and accusing others of immoral acts, and these individuals will be thrust into the spotlight and face unfair trials to determine whether they are a sinner. I hadn't seen the Terry Crews thing. The level of condescension toward him is fucking wild. All seems to boil down to wow, okay, you're really ignorant and uneducated and you're not really black if you disagree with us. There's no such thing as black supremacists or racism toward white people, read a book. Fucking goddamn. I don't understand what is happening in America and its universities, but it is also a global trend of something. It is no different from what happened in 20th century. They dictate what you can say or not. They punish socially and legally, hate speech, if you speak what they don't like, for justice. Scholars, professors should be able to say whatever they like. The right was considered sacred. Only in Red Scare or totalitarian regimes did not respect the right. They criticized and shouted injustice. Now they are doing the exactly same things. This is just the repeat of 20th century, less extreme level just because we don't have enemy outside. It really comes down to one very simple truth: perpetuating an us vs them mentality is profitable. Keep the lower classes fighting with each other so they, the rich, can run off with all the fucking money. Race, terrorism, politics. These are easy ways to divide the people and keep them distracted. This is literally mob mentality in full definition. What's happening in the US is frightening in every sense. No one can speak on new perspectives or actual solutions into solving police brutality without being called a racist. You cannot speak out about protesting during a deadly pandemic without being called out as an oppressor to Black Lives Matter. Any form of reason is thrown away during complete anger and chaos, and it's frightening to me at this time that people, especially teenagers, are to believe they're doing something right while risking the lives of many others. Well said. People are letting their emotions run wild. The stresses of the COVID lockdown and the never-ending growth of internet echo chambers have only made things worse. Thankfully, things appear to be calming down a bit. Hopefully it continues to do so. Anyone who is an actual student of history would know, the things that are happening now are the same kind of things that were happening in Germany prior to World War II. You ever wondered how people became complacent and were capable of sending Jews to concentration camps? Look around you. Look at yourselves. Look at what you've become. There's your answer. It's because people today think that being open-minded means that anyone you share your views with is obligated to adopt them. People don't care to recognize nuance or understand outside perspective and why someone might hold their views prior to judgment. Everyone expects their views to be adopted by whomever they're communicating with, without recognizing that it's a two-way street. If y'all want to make this stop, eliminate the media. MSM keeps us all divided because it's more profitable to pander and get those outrage clicks and spew partisan garbage than it is to host civil discussion and bring people together. MSM wants everyone to disregard statistics unless it fits their narrative. It's a bunch of wannabe 1984 shit, those people that are for BLM and for violence against police and whites. If they were born in the 1900 to 1930s as Caucasians in Germany would most certainly have had been supporting NSDAP too. Victimizing and groupthink and us-them mentality is what caused the World War II in the first place. Precursor to genocide and chaos. Next things that is gonna happen us that they burn books or art. They are already destroying language, culture and statues. Commenting to save this post for future reflection, you put into words things I have been thinking but not able to articulate. We need to kill Al-Qaeda because of 9/11. Asterisk goes to Iraq. This will be removed because of some rule if it gets traction. You forget Reddit is exactly like Twitter. And if you argue against the hive, I have seen the defund the police movement. Can anyone explain to me what is the goal there? I don't live in the US, but what do they expect? Armed militias leading the nation and keeping the peace? Total anarchy? I mean, if the officers do something illegal they should be fired, but don't they see that if you don't have a peacekeeping force bad people will take advantage of that? I just don't understand the idea behind this. There's nothing more toxic than a mob who is fueled by pious outrage. You can't rationalize with them as everything is broken down into shades of dark black or stark white. You are either an ally, or you are the enemy, and when it becomes dogma all it does is perpetuate fear and loathing. I agree 100%, most people who are very BLM, and usually also very left, I'm mostly centrist, will take on an opinion and ruthlessly attack anyone whose ideology differs even slightly. I asked a group of people, if we defund the police, how will gun laws be enforced? I was met with dozens of DMs of people tearing apart not my statement, but my character as a human, how I probably had no friends, and would die alone, as one very angry purple-haired girl put it. I miss the days where people could have discussions about literally anything without being judged based on their opinion. I'm not saying that any one group of people will do this, but if I would to go up to a friend I have in mind who is very left-wing, with a more right-wing opinion, chances are good that that person will never talk to me again.